Saturday, Christmas comes early.
Unbelievable! Welcome to this incredible scene.
Bills.
To the end zone!
Chargers.
It's a touchdown!
An exclusive NFL game.
That's fantastic!
Live in primetime.
Wow!
Only on Peacock.
With a Christmas gift to their fans.
They're having some fun now.
Bills versus Chargers. Saturday, 7:30 Eastern. Exclusively on Peacock.
The holidays are a time to feel and create joy. And what could be more joyous than the look on her face as she unwraps a stunning new jewelry piece from Blue Nile? How about getting 50% off your purchase? Blue Nile offers premium quality, priced below traditional retail. Their online experts are available 24/7 to answer any questions and make sure you've picked the perfect gift. For a limited time, you can get 50% off at BlueNile.com. That's 50% off at BlueNile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Columbia Sportswear. It's snowing again, and that wind chill is killer. But you're not worried about that because you shop the Omni Heat Infinity Collection. It's warmth perfected with tiny gold dots that reflect your body heat inside and protect you from the cold outside. No snow or chilly temps can stop you now. Go out anyway. Shop the Omni Heat Infinity Collection now at Columbia.com/infinity.
Apple Gift Card is a practical gift that unlocks a world of entertainment and fun. You can send it via email or give a physical card to your loved ones. Your friends and family can spend it on their favorite Apple services, including Apple subscriptions. Apple Gift Card can be used to buy all things Apple. Products, accessories, apps, games, movies, TV shows, iCloud Plus, and more. Visit apple.com for details and to send Apple Gift Cards to your friends and family this holiday season.
My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin. Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another shade of blue. We are the KC Soccer Journal. Please go subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. Maybe go leave us a comment at kcsoccerjournal.com. My name is Cody Bradley. I forgot that last week while doing some grand intros for everyone. I forgot myself. Cody Bradley is me. That is who I am. Thad Bell is here, CEO of the KC Soccer Journal. Robert Russert, seasoned sports journalist veteran. And David Greenwald. David in the chat is here. David is just some guy I got out of our comments section. Thank you all for being here. We are finally getting this podcast in this week. I apologize to our loyal listeners. We had technical difficulties, drunken difficulties, user error. It was a comedy of errors this week, but we're finally getting this in. And you know what? It's a good week to have those errors because we have all of this time until the next game. And so actually, I think this episode's sponsor has something for all of you. Great timing on this one. This episode is brought to you by the new MLS After Season Tournament. Do you need something to watch while you sit around and wait for the actual playoff games? This meaningless friendly tournament is for you. Major League Soccer. More tournaments. Very innovative thing MLS is doing there. Pretty excited about that. But round one is finally complete. Finally. I feel like the playoffs have been going on for like 3 weeks and we're only one round in, amazingly. But it is Houston Dynamo is indeed the next opponent for Sporting Kansas City. They defeated RSL in PKs in Game 3. The next round is officially Sunday, November 26th at 6 p.m. in Houston. So what do you guys think of the playoff format? It was pretty controversial. We're one round in. The 3-game series are all done. Robert, how do you feel about this? Did it win you over?
Well, you know, being a traditionalist where it's one table, the regular season is the champion, that's it. I guess you want the top seeds to have an advantage, right, in the playoffs, so the regular season means something. Well, I went back and looked the last 3 seasons, no matter how MLS has done playoffs, the top seed has won in this round every game except for one each season. So I guess it's working out that way, and it was pretty exciting. So, you know, I'm not too against it.
Yeah, the exciting aspect. I've heard some people kind of prop that up as, this was an exciting round, and that means maybe the 3-game series format was not so bad. But I think it was just exciting games. It would have been exciting in 2 games. I'm not sure any of the game 3s were all that exciting. But Thad, where do you stand with all of this?
I think the format did play into the games being more exciting because you didn't have the worry about the aggregate type of score. So if it was a home and home where, say, the lower seeded team gets a goal and then they're just going in and bunkering for the next game and things like that, with each game ending at the end of regulation, going straight to penalties, and each game being a 1-game situation, not an aggregate, not, don't have to care about how many goals you got. If you were down 3-1 at the 80th minute, man, throw the goalie forward, right? Mm-hmm. You could do that because it didn't matter if you lost 5-1 or 3-1 or 3-2. You could just go for it. So I think in that respect, it made more exciting games.
Yeah, I'm torn on this.
You had to win, right? You had to win.
Yeah, and that played a role. I am torn on it. I see I liked the idea of the straight to penalties, and Thad, like you mentioned, it changed the game from the aggregate format of bunkering, and that second game was maybe a little more exciting. So I get all of that, but man, this was just, I would call this a disaster right now. The fact that we're just sitting around twiddling our thumbs for 3 weeks because Sporting handled St. Louis in 2 games. This cannot be right. You cannot have a 3-week break in the middle of the playoffs.
Yeah, but that's just planning. That's also with so much other things going into play with the big tournament they had in the middle of the season, the international breaks. I think if it was me, I would have taken the 3-game series and condensed it into a week and a half or 2 weeks, not 3 weeks. So we could have already been into the next round at least. But
yeah. That game 3, that can't be another week, right? You got to do game 3 the Wednesday after those games, right? That was way too long, and it still would have been 2.5 weeks. I know there's not much they can do with the international break mixed in there. We were gonna have a week off at some point, which means a 2-week break in between games. So I don't know exactly how they deal with that. But Thad, do you think this is gonna come back next year, the 3-game format?
I don't know. As many people complained about it. I have no idea, man. I think again, I like the fact that it created more competition in those individual games, but I do still think that the reason it was done was for money, for Apple to have more games to show, but not so many, not every series being a 3-game series, and then at least every team except the 9th seed having at least one home playoff game. So I think that all came into play.
Well, you're exactly right. That is why they were doing it. They wanted more markets involved and more playoff games. So that is the question of if it's going to come back or not. Robert, do you think that worked out? Were there more eyes on Major League Soccer because they invited more teams? Were there more eyes on the playoffs longer because of the 3-game format?
Yeah, I believe so. David in the chat says shave 2 games off the regular season and do a best of 3 the entire playoffs till MLS Cup.
Okay.
I mean, the regular season, as long as teams in MLS are depending on game revenue, concessions, selling jerseys, etc., there's going to be 34 regular season games because they just need that revenue, and there's going to be more games in the playoffs because of the revenue. But I think with the Apple TV deal, and I hate to say it, with Messi, I think there are certainly more eyes on the playoffs this season, this time around.
I'm just surprised they didn't give Miami a bye into the playoffs.
Right.
Okay, well, and then the other aspect of that is the more teams in the playoffs. And if Sporting Kansas City are going to just do this damn thing, then that is another point there for Apple on allowing more teams into the playoffs. So it's kind of hard to be upset about the inclusion aspect of this when Sporting kind of snuck in on the last day.
Remember, they were the 8th seed, not the 9th.
I know. And it was just, how long? I feel like it was 7 teams for a long time, wasn't it? Or maybe even 6 teams made the playoffs.
It's been everything, man.
Because I remember making a joke about whenever the Galaxy got Zlatan, I remember thinking like, oh, I'm really happy for them and they're going to finish 7th place. And I picked 7th because it was like they were going to miss the playoffs. So there was a time where we wouldn't have
Oh yeah,
made
the
playoffs there.
last 2 seasons were 7 teams. First seed just got a bye
Right, there
in
we
the
go.
first round. So yeah.
Okay, so round 1 is set. The conference semifinal matchups are all set in the West. It is number 2 Seattle versus number 3 LAFC. It is chalk everywhere except for number 8 Sporting Kansas City versus number 4 Houston Dynamo. Over in the East, it is number 2 Orlando City versus 3 Columbus Crew, and number 4 Philadelphia Union versus Supporter Shield winners Cincinnati. So let's go game by game here. Robert, who do you like in Orlando versus Columbus?
Tell you what I like about that is that's going to be a soccer match because both teams play good soccer. You know, and I've said this before. Yes, Darlington Nagbe is my favorite guy as far as non-sporting player goes. I just love the way he plays. And, you know, I'm going to have to tilt toward Columbus because of that. And then you go into Philly, Cincinnati. I just think Cincinnati has too many weapons for Philly to handle. I think Philly's is explosive, and I think in one game Cincinnati's going to win out on that. And then
No, hold on. Let's
Seattle.
Let's stay in the Eastern Conference. Thad, what do you think of the Eastern Conference matchups?
I'm going to go with Columbus and Philadelphia. I think I matched Robert in that one. Columbus is the better team. I think Philly's got the experience. So
Philly over Cincinnati, huh?
At least I hope so.
I forget how that played out with the eventual Defender of the Year, Matt Miazga. Is he not suspended for the next round, even though he got a second yellow card in, quote unquote, in a game?
I thought he's supposed to be suspended based upon the yellow cards, but I'm still wondering if he's going to be suspended just on his visit to the referee room.
Right. So in that game, he was given a yellow card during the 90 minutes and then was given another yellow card after, I guess it's by the rule book, it was after the game had ended during the PKs. So he was not ejected from the field. He remained on the field, but he is supposed to serve this suspension for the next game. And then after the game, apparently very calmly, the team said it was no big deal and security didn't need to get involved. Only one of the team members had to go pull him out. But he very calmly, apparently, went into the referee's room after the game, had some very normal words to say to them, I'm very sure, in a very calm manner. I've always liked Matt Miazga a little bit. You kind of need a shithead on your team. Like the Yanks need a shithead or two. And I always, with doing the Yanks Abroad article I did for all those years, I followed him pretty closely with Vitesse and all that. He was doing nonsense like this his entire career. There was one time he didn't just nut tap a guy on a corner kick. He just grabbed a guy's balls and squeezed and got ejected for it. Incredible. Not that I want that, but come on. You need some shitheads on your team in World Cups and for CONCACAF gritty play.
If the referee doesn't see that actually happen, how do you prove it? Do you pull your shorts down and show the marks? I'm like
videos, VAR, Thad. No one
now,
can
but
hide.
I mean, a couple years ago, no.
You can't hide a
tell
ball
you
grab.
the story of an indoor game I played years ago in college, guys, that fits this discussion, but I'll save that for later.
Okay, we'll save the ball grabbing stories for another time. So yeah, that would be. I would like to see Cincinnati crash out of that. That's one team in the East that I do think is very good and would be able to stop Sporting Kansas City. Orlando is very good, Thad. I'm with you guys on that one. I think. Oh no, you guys both picked Columbus, didn't you?
Yeah.
I like Orlando. I think Orlando's good.
They're all good at this point. Everybody in the playoffs right now is good.
I know I said I picked them as one of the MLS teams you forget about, Orlando City, because we all forgot about them one entire episode. But no, I think they are pretty good. Okay, Robert, what about Seattle and LAFC?
Yeah, I mean, Seattle at home, they are on a roll.
Yeah.
It's hard to bet against them. So I'm going to have to go with the Sounders, unfortunately.
Thad?
I think just because it's in Seattle, I will go with Seattle.
Yeah, I would have gone with the home team on either of these for sure. Okay.
And then another Western Conference game. We got to talk about predictions there.
Well, we have another week that we can do that, but yeah, let's do that quickly. Is everyone riding the hot train of Sporting Kansas City? Houston ain't stopping this, right? Get out of here, Hector.
Agreed.
Thad, are you gonna rain on my parade?
No, I'm gonna go with Sporting.
Okay. David in the
I
chat.
don't know.
David in the chat says we're gonna wax that ass. That's becoming his catchphrase very quickly here. All right. On that note, we'll take a quick break and be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Google Pixel, the official fan phone of the NBA and WNBA. The new Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro are built different. How? Take the Audio Magic Eraser tool. It helps block out distracting crowd noise so your play-by-play commentary sounds crystal clear. The only phone engineered by Google brings out the audio you care about so your videos sound as crisp as they look. Learn more at googlestore.com/pixelnba. Audio Magic Eraser requires Google Photos app. May not work on all audio elements.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need. Have coverage options to protect the things you value most. File a claim right on the State Farm mobile app and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Thad, I thought you would like this. On Tuesday, Peter Vermes was finally asked directly about Antoine Griezmann. I struggle to call them rumors. It is not. There are no Antoine Griezmann rumors. There was simply a picture taken with Antoine Griezmann, noted Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs fan with part owner of Sporting Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes. And that sparked the conversation. He's long said he wanted to retire in MLS, wants to end here. It would be great. I would love this. But I keep seeing people say rumors about this. There is no rumor in any way. Nothing about it is rumors. I don't like anyone on our site calling it rumors. I like I like for us to be beyond that.
And for clarity,
yeah,
it was asked last week.
Oh, this was last week.
Last Wednesday. And it was just very overshadowed by the Logan and Dembe news.
I actually saw, was it the Daily Mail? The Daily Mail, an international kind of shithousery source, wrote an article.
Thank you for adding that part, yes.
They picked this up. I think it came out today, like just a few hours before we started recording. Wrote an article about the MLS manager of Sporting Kansas City squashing the rumors of Antoine Griezmann to come play there. So, yeah, Vermes just quickly said, no, they're not. Actually, Thad, correct me on what the actual question was. Was it, are you talking to him, or is there anything to the rumors, or what was the question?
Somebody mentioned, because they saw the photo with Mahomes and Griezmann with the jerseys and all that stuff, hey, is there just, hey, Antoine likes Kansas City, likes Mahomes, is there something going on there? And Vermes is like, yeah, that's nice. And I said, so have you, and I actually, the one that asked him, have you talked to him? And he just kind of like, no. And then kind of smiled about it. So.
Wow. I didn't know. So you actually asked that question. Good job. Did you know that your question was picked up by international sources of the Daily Mail?
Actually, I'm going to credit Chad Smith a little bit with that, because he cut out the video and tweeted it out earlier today, I think, which is why it got started off today. Again, to me, it just got I just care about like trying to find out the reality of stuff. Have you talked to Griezmann? No, cool. If he had, then it would have been news. He didn't. It's not news to me. So,
okay, that is about enough of Antoine Griezmann stuff. I would love if he came here. I don't want to seem like a stick in the mud about this. I would love it. I just there at the moment there is nothing to it. I would love for the day that there's an actual link, even if it is nonsense. I would love to see the actual Sporting Kansas City is linked with Antoine Griezmann.
He's currently in contract through 2026, though, right?
Things change.
Yeah, they do.
And you never know. But who's he going to beat out? I mean, is he going to beat out Polito? Is he going to beat out Russell, Shallowy, Shelton? Come on.
No, they're all better than Antoine Griezmann. I pick all of those players over Antoine Griezmann. Because those are the guys that turned the season around. This is my segue there. Guys, I saw a claim that I thought you might like this. There was a claim online this week on MLS subreddit. I saw this on a few different places. The idea that the pressure from the Vermes Out crowd somehow forced Vermes' hand into some changes. The idea that putting pressure on him, maybe he started making more substitutions and things like that. Thad, what do you think of that? I didn't want to, as the guy asking the question, I didn't want to just flatly answer it like that. But yeah, Thad, what do you think of this?
I agree with Robert. No, what I would like to know what they perceived as being changed. I mean, Peter was very consistent the entire time. Oh, we need to get our guys back. We need to get our guys back. And it was clearly at times the team was on the verge of breaking, I would say. You know, he said that there was only one half in that entire time where he was worried about losing the team, that they'd given up, however he phrased it. And it's probably fairly accurate. Those guys were pretty damn down. And I don't think it was anything Peter just changed. I think he did get guys back that were healthy. I think that the team dug deep. I think he kept pushing them to do what they were already trying to do. He didn't give up on them. They didn't give up on him. And they started being successful. I would love to know what somebody saw that was different.
Well, I think the idea was that he somehow was maybe making more subs and that some younger guys got in there. I think maybe they were trying to take credit for Logan Denbe and Jake Davis getting playing time.
Yeah, but Jake Davis can credit Zusi being hurt and Caden Pierre being hurt.
Yeah,
Logan Dembe can credit the fact that he worked his ass off to get back in healthy, and that Tim Leibold was not.
I don't want to hate on these people too much because I'm just happy that they're happy and all, and that everyone is back on board. Robert, what do you think was the key? I know we're often level-headed here, but was there one thing that gets the credit for this turnaround?
Okay, I'm not going to say the obvious that other people might say. So I'm just going to say that, the leadership on the team, I think, from the top down, the owners, and Peter had a discussion and they had questions. Peter said he had answers. I'd like to hear what those are, and maybe Thad will get those next week or this week. But yeah, that group of 5 or 6 guys that keep the locker room so strong and level and anticipate difficulties, I think was a guiding force here. And a very important part of the team staying together. And then, of course, in Seattle, or before the Seattle game, Johnny said that they had that discussion and, some truths were spoken that needed to be spoken. And I think some people were, probably looking at themselves a little deeper than they normally would. And that really woke up some people too.
Was what you were saying the obvious choice or the obvious answer? Is that just that players came back? Was that what you weren't saying? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Alan Polito and Gadi Kinda coming back obviously helped quite a bit.
It did. And again, the players did a lot of it themselves. The retreat they did at the owners.
There it is. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, it wasn't a camping trip.
We're not talking enough about the camping trip, you guys. That's the key for me. That's the answer. I asked at one point, I said that they all need to go do mushrooms together in Joshua Tree and go on some retreat together. And that is exactly what they did. Cannot confirm or deny the mushrooms. We don't have any information on that. But something magical happened on this camping trip. And we need to know more about it. I demand more knowledge of this camping trip. It is a monumental moment in this club's history.
If they go on to win MLS Cup, there will be a book written about that retreat. Again, I don't think you can call it camping when you're hanging out at the owner's ranch.
It'll be written by Cody and Thad.
I'm okay,
David, what do you need to know? How many marshmallows Johnny puts on a s'more?
Yes, things like that. If they made s'mores, what the food was there organized lectures, who was talking, what the sleeping arrangements were, was everyone just in a tent? Was it just out in the open? Was the weather nice? I need to know more about this monumental moment in our club's history. And something magical happened that we all need to talk more about.
I think obviously they did a little circle around a campfire, which is why they have the campfire
Right.
celebration
And
now when they score. They did a little celebration around that. I don't know
It's
if
the
they
one
were
thing we
clothed
know.
or they singed hair off their legs when they were dancing through the fire and the embers. They were firewalking with each other, carrying each other naked across the coals. I don't know. I'm not sure. Actually, I want to know that now that we've gotten that far into this discussion.
See, I'm not weird for wanting to know more about this. I'm not weird. You guys are weird. And Thad is weird for everything that he just said.
I just said what you've been thinking all along.
No, I don't know. They saw some visions while doing this campfire dance. I don't know. Something magical happened, and that is what gets credit for this turnaround.
They did some Missouri peyote. That's what.
Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
All right, so we can wrap up here in our final segment. Guys, a new Taika Waititi movie is coming out. Next Goal Wins. We have a soccer movie coming out. A rare football movie is actually coming out. I'm a big Taika Waititi fan, so I'm pretty pumped about this, Thad.
I just saw the trailer for it, I just got back from watching a movie. I saw the trailer for it before the movie, and I don't know. I'll probably watch it. I don't know when, how much. I'll probably make sure I go on a cheap day, but
it is not getting good reviews so far. But
it didn't look great.
Sometimes movie creators, film creators, just like rub you the right way, and Taika Waititi just like hits my funny bone in a certain way, and I'm very charmed by him. I actually saw an interview of him saying that he's worried that his shtick might wear off, or like if he does it too much and doesn't change enough that it might wear off. When he said it, I was like, oh shit, that is a very real thing with this guy that I hadn't considered. So I don't know. Yeah. We'll see this. It's a movie about soccer. I'm very excited about it. I'll definitely go watch it.
And I've liked a lot of stuff he does because it's really quirky.
Yeah.
But I think he carries it. He's got to a point where he just carries it too far.
Yeah.
It's like it's not quirky when you do it in every scene.
Well,
you know
like the Thor, like the third Thor movie that he did.
Yeah.
The first one was the best Marvel movie that had been done up to that point. And I even liked the third one too, but you can definitely see like the gimmick, the shtick, whatever his like style is can maybe wear on you.
The one that he did, the Ragnarok, was really good. The Love and Thunder one I didn't like very much.
And now I'm scared to ask you this because you rarely do anything quickly, but can you quickly tell us if you liked the Marvels? You saw the Marvels tonight.
I did, and I actually very much liked it.
Okay, good. No spoilers.
It was I could have actually enjoyed it. I mean, I think they could have filled in a tiny little bit more. It's not a perfect movie, but it was funny. The chemistry between the actresses was good.
Yeah, I like all of them.
I think it wiped out one of the Marvel TV shows that they recently did. It pretty much just wiped out that. So, but
okay,
it was good. I actually enjoyed it better than the first Captain Marvel movie, which was okay. Wasn't great, but it was a lot better this one.
I do love me some Brie Larson. You had to make a bad movie in order for me to not like watching Brie Larson for 2 hours.
And there's at least 3 scenes in there that I would say you want to go see the movie just for one of those scenes. Okay. And there's 3 of those scenes in there. So I'm not gonna say on air. If you go see it, I'll tell you what they were.
Okay. That's still okay. You dragged on a little bit too long in there, but I can talk about Marvel movies for a while, or just any movies. This is the podcast I would rather do. I'm sorry for all the soccer fans waiting for more soccer. Let's get back to it though. Where I was going with this was a lack of good soccer movies out there in the world. I watched an old Sean Bean movie called When Saturday Comes. That was pretty good. Very old. It was very old and dated though. I've got some soccer movies on my list. Do you guys know of any good soccer movies? Do you have a favorite?
Victory.
Yes. Yes, with Pele and Sylvester Stallone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one that I have on my list right now. I was actually I was reading an article today that The Guardian wrote with this Next Goal Wins movie coming out. And he had, guys, one of the Men in Blazers guys was quoted in there, and he had a movie producer that was very knowledgeable on soccer, and they were just talking about why there aren't any more soccer movies out there. And one good point I thought was made was just the idea that the gameplay and the flowing nature of the sport is just doesn't help the idea of setting up one big dramatic moment. And then the community aspect where this is a full-on team sport with 11 guys out there who might all touch the ball on one play. So it's hard to build up to these big moments, and yeah, I can kind of see why it's never happened. And then when you add in just that Americans up until now have not given a shit about soccer, you can see why movies haven't really taken the risk to try to do this the right way.
Yeah, I didn't think the Goal series was that bad, those movies. I thought they were decent enough.
Oh, yeah. I have one of those on my list. They're very, very poorly critically acclaimed.
Okay.
I don't think I know
What
those.
do critics know?
I don't know those ones. But have you seen the movie about the 50 World Cup beating England?
I have not seen that one.
Game of Their Lives, or
Yeah,
what was it?
I think it has two different names. One because they put it out under one name, but they realized it was a trademarked name or copyrighted name. It conflicted, and so they changed the name. There's like some real players in there.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Winalda was like one of the people helping get it together.
Right.
There was a former Wizard in there.
This is actually a callback to the original season of Shades of Blue that we all did together. We actually had this conversation, and I remember you telling me about that movie that had just come out, and I never watched it, but I'm going to.
I have it on DVD within 15 feet of me. I'm just not sure what pile it is.
All right, let's move it back along to Sporting Kansas City here. We haven't had a chance to discuss the devastating news of Logan Ndembe's torn ACL. The guy tore it during the St. Louis game, finished it out, but Sporting Kansas City will be without him for the remainder of the playoffs. Robert, what does this mean? What does Sporting Kansas City lose? How do we deal with it?
Hey, there's no way we're in the position that we are in. Sporting's in the position they're in without Logan Ndembe. Let's just admit it right here.
Yeah.
I mean, the first goal in St. Louis, the first goal at home, we're not here. And, like Thad alluded to earlier, Logan's just attitude about coming back and saying, hey, I want to play and I want to be better. It's just the epitome of what Sporting is. And, it's going to be a big miss.
Not just the last two games, might not have even been in the playoffs had he not rounded into form there at the end of the season. It's been a month and a half or longer than that that he's been playing well.
Yeah.
It's a little bit moment of Logan Ndembe appreciation here.
Yes, a Logan Ndembe appreciation hour. We like our appreciation hours here.
And it's also how long we've been waiting for a left back to be consistent and be good. And that's what he's been for the last month and a half.
Yeah, a month and a half doesn't count as consistent, though.
It does for Sporting, doesn't it? Come on now.
Well, I think we saw enough from him last year and in times before where we saw that he does have the skills there and that he could maybe grow into a better player. And he is still so young, so.
Yeah, he is, and he'll come back, man. I think the dedication he showed this year to get better and improve and get healthy and game fit and everything he needed to do, and just the way he answered the questions when we had the presser last week, I'm pretty confident that he will come back and be as good as before. But you do got to give him a ton of credit for playing 44 minutes or whatever it was with the torn ACL.
Gangster.
But I wish, because he didn't really know at the time how damaged it is, because if it's a complete tear, that's a whole nother story. You probably could not have done it. So it's got to be a partial tear.
Right.
And he's got really strong leg muscles, which will help reinforce the strength of the knee. And there's certain muscles that will help compensate for that. So that's probably why he was able to do it, because he's massively strong.
Well, looking forward without him. I think Sporting Kansas City are actually in a pretty decent position here. They signed Tim Leibold this season because I think maybe they weren't sure if Logan Ndembe was going to round into the form that he eventually did. So they've got a guy ready to step up. Tim Leibold has shown plenty of quality this year.
Yeah, I mean, Tim's a good player. He's a good attacking player. I'm not convinced about his defensive play at this point because that's one thing that Logan really improved too.
Yeah.
So that's a question mark there. But on the attack, he's going to be solid.
Maybe not scoring as many goals.
Right. But he'll contribute and he'll make some nice passes. So.
Yeah, he'll fill in. I feel pretty good about him as a fill-in right now. But yeah, there's the magic that they've been finding on that left-hand side with Ndembe and Shallowy and Gotti's movement and Polito's movement. They've just been doing so much damage on that side, and Logan was a big part of that. But I'm ready for.
Well, they got 3 weeks to work on it, right?
That's right. They got all the time in the world to plan. As the fire wears off the hottest team in Major League Soccer.
I think, how much can you really work on just that? I mean, there's nothing you can really do. I mean, the he's either there or not. You can maybe give him a couple of simulated games to get his fitness up, but.
Well, I imagine they are playing some competition at some point. Probably more than once, but yeah.
All right, I saw the trash talking has officially begun between the Twitters of Houston Dynamo and Sporting Kansas City. Old rivalry being rekindled. Very fond memories and very sad memories of facing Houston in the playoffs. Thad, one of our favorite goals of all time was against Houston. Are you ready to reignite this? I'm going to call it a rivalry. It's a rivalry.
It is. It's just one that's not been as active lately because Houston wasn't good for a lot of years, and Sporting's been kind of up and down. It was up and then down for a while. So I think I'm ready for it to be another rivalry, man. But
I want all the rivals.
But go back to that game in 2013. Do you remember one of the little gamesmanship things that Sporting did? Because remember, that game was cold also. MLS Cup was very cold, right?
Is this the sprinklers? Is this what we're on?
No. They had space heaters for the Sporting side, but not for the Houston side.
Oh, very nice.
Little propane heaters that helped keep them warm and the subs warm, and the players could come over when they grabbed a bottle of water and get a little bit touch warmer.
I see.
And then, but Houston didn't have any, so I think they got in trouble for not providing those for Houston. And then I think they had them out there when for the actual MLS Cup.
David is rightly asking in the chat here if Houston actually has fans to trash talk. Because
Exactly.
that last round, game 3 in the playoffs, they had empty seats in that stadium. That has always been a problem there in Houston. But I don't know. You got to think the next round. Each round goes on, more people have to give a shit in Houston. So
not really. I wish that was true, man. I mean, I'm not trying to trash talk on fans, but
they don't have any.
I'm surprised, man, because Houston should be a place that has good fans, but I don't know if it's just because they've been so bad because the owners don't know what to do, and they've changed owners twice since they've been down there.
I saw Chad, friend of the show, Chad, getting into it. He's our resident Kansas City or Sporting Kansas City trash talker online. Saw him already getting into it. I saw there was on Meme Monday there was a Houston Sporting KC meme with Toby and Michael from The Office. So it's all beginning again. I'm pretty excited about this, and we have over almost 2 weeks here to wait for it. But
hey guys, I have a lifetime hatred of the color orange. Anytime I see it, the Dynamo or who I think of, and Bobby Boswell and Ricardo Clark and Will Bruin and Jeff Cameron and all those guys, and it just irks me every time I see the
Brad
colors.
Davis.
So
Brad Davis,
Brad
thank
Davis.
you.
Yeah.
That was where I was going.
We could
And I have
temporarily
to-
not hate him.
And I have to throw this out here because today is the anniversary of the 2004 MLS Cup, where Sporting lost to the freaking fraud DC United. I just have to mention that. Sad occasion, but frauds.
Okay, I don't know if you had to mention it, but yeah, it's good to remember our roots. It is good to remember.
That's right.
You can't win them
And-
all.
unlike some teams that think they're a soccer capital, we actually have roots. We actually have a history. I mean, we don't have to go back to the 1950s to think that we actually did something good, which was only provide half of a team. It wasn't even a whole team. So we don't even have to go there. But if we were going to go there, we at least have a history since 96.
So much history that we have more than one rival, and I'm going to leave you with the audio of Thad and I's favorite goal in Sporting Kansas City history.
Roll ahead here for Zusic, puts the double team to pick it up. Heads back for Feilhaber, has runners on his side. Feilhaber keeps it himself, trying to clip it in. Tom Dwyer! Come on!
The other side don't seem so tough, and 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Supporters strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.